So, one of you kind of had mentioned this last, over the last week about people sharing your one of your favorite quotes of Baba's, or it could be from any other author. And if you feel comfortable, share why, what it means to you, or how, the context it came to in your life, or how it works for you. It might be from your early years with Baba, or maybe something more recently that has been pivotal in your life. So, and I mentioned too, you can read an entire poem if that poem is especially meaningful to you. So anyway, feel free.
And there's a red base to it.
What's that? Oh, something about a red base. I don't know. Okay, so does anybody want to venture forth? Um, and share a quote, or you're gonna stick me with being the first one?
I got
Oh, good. We got Tony.
well, this was easy for me. Jay Baba.
Yeah.
Um, the This quote is with me all the time. Um, and it was from the discourse on reincarnation and karma, and it's technically the subject is karma, but it is I found it to be so much richer and deeper than just that. Um, the quote is any action that does not have the wholehearted support of one's innermost being is quick in inviting its opposite.
Wow.
And yeah, now that of course is about karma. If it doesn't have, anytime you're not in tune, your action is creating karma. But only this past week, and I love that, because if there's any question about if I'm feeling uncomfortable about something, check in. Does this have the support, wholehearted support of my innermost being? If not, forget it, because that's Baba in me. But this week in particular, I found an application of it that's really wonderful, and I had never even kind of considered. There are certain things that, I'll put it this way, that Baba in me wants to do. And but ego Tony has all sorts of objections and blocks, and they have gone on forever. And in thinking of what quote I would offer, which would be this one, I said, wait a second, why don't I just check in, instead of saying, oh, this is what you want, this is what Baba wants, oh man, this is just, you have your own idea. Why don't I just get out of this and check in to see if these particular things that I have in mind have the wholehearted support of my innermost being. And surprise, they do. So suddenly all the blocks that I was having, I'm able to go ahead now freely and do these things, because I've checked in. That's the guideline, if it has the wholehearted support of your innermost being. And so that's definitely my favorite practical living life quote of Baba's.
Yeah, beautiful. Tony, give us that again. That was really beautiful. I mean, it's
And
very, I mean, this is one of those things that's worth carrying with us all the time as a litmus test. Go ahead.
any action that doesn't have the wholehearted support of your innermost being is quick in inviting its opposite. Um, I've also connected that with, I studied Course in Miracles, which I think I've said before, I think Baba dictated that incognito. But one of the principles for decision in there is very similar to that quote of Baba's. The idea is you check in. If there's something you want to do, check in deeply. And is your inner being at peace with the thing, or is it a little bit agitated about it? And it's just a variation of checking with your innermost being. And as long as your innermost being is at peace with the thing, go ahead and do it. You've gotten the kind of the divine okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Tony, do you have an example of where where you weren't quite wholehearted about something and you did get the opposite? Can you think of something like that, or off the top of your head?
Oh, any fight I've ever had with my wife. I know that's the easiest thing that comes to mind. That's an example of, when you're coming from here, you're coming from there, you're coming from an embattled place or whatever it is. But if you check in, I mean, there are probably better examples, but that was the immediate one.
Yeah, good.
May I add something to what Tony just said?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. One of the things that the women especially said, when we'd be talking about something at dinner or tea or whatever, and I would say something that I was concerned about, and, like, what do I do or something like that. And Mara always said, whatever you do, whatever choice you make sure, if you recall into Mondeley Hall and standing before Baba and he asked you, how are you doing? Did you sleep well? Have you eaten? What's going on in your life? And you were to tell him what just happened and what choice you made. Would he be pleased with your choice? Would you feel okay telling him what your choice was? And if you're not 100% sure that you'd feel comfortable saying, well, Baba, I chose to do this, da 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 da. Do you want to hear him say, that very good? Or do you want him to say, you mean you didn't apologize, or you didn't try this, or something like that? Just, what Baba would say, because right from wrong innately. And so just be sure that whatever you do, if you had to tell Baba your choice, that you would feel okay and not embarrassed. Anyway, that's kind of along the same lines.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, very very practical and visual. Yeah. Okay. Who's next?
Marin or Michelle?
One of those Schaefer people.
Hi there. Oh, what happened to my notes? Okay, so I have this quote. Baba said, whatever you face in the world, I am facing it with you.
Ooh, beautiful.
I will never leave you. I am always with you. So I think in a nutshell, it's right there. That no matter what's happening, good or bad, Baba's right there. And his nazar is on us, is on me. So that's all I have to say.
Can you send that quote to me? You got my email address somewhere. Huh?
Sure.
Yeah, that's a beautiful quote. And I am facing it with you.
Yes, whatever you face in the world, I am facing it along with you.
Yeah.
I will never leave you. I am always with you.
Yeah.
Michelle, do you know the song "I Will Never Leave You"? I will never leave.
I do know it, but I don't know it. Like, I can't perform it.
Oh, darn it. Does anybody know that song? Paula, do you know that song? I will never leave you.
Yeah, I'd have to get the words, but I know it.
You can depend.
It's Jim Meyer, right?
I'll be always with you in ways you cannot comprehend. Let not your heart be troubled by the things that pass your eyes. The world is made of shadows that your heart learned to disguise. And then it goes on, and other people have quotes.
Yes. When Jim Meyer wrote that song, Darwin Shaw he was doing the night watch, and Darwin was meeting him in the morning to walk with Jim to the barn to open it up for the day. But when Darwin got to the caretaker's cabin, the night watchman cabin, he said, "Remember, Baba will never leave you." Just written that song, so It was a beautiful kind of confirmation. Okay, Jacima.
Okay. Wait, I have one.
Rosalie.
Oh, Marvin has one.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Yeah. This is from a very long time ago. Probably one of the first quotes that I ever got.
it looks like one of the Christmas quotes from Marazad.
Loving me is loving all. Serving me is serving all. And it's just been my own personal experience with Baba.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. You're going to the major radio station.
Yeah.
It's broadcast.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Thank
Some
you.
of those very simple sayings have such profound meaning, and they can be like the foundation of your life with Baba. Yeah.
Rosalie.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Baba speaks my language. He just says things in perfect ways. So I have very many. But one thing I was thinking of is how exquisite how to love God is. That is so right on perfect that it makes the Ten Commandments fade, because usually most people aren't going to kill someone. But anyway, but this one I wanted to share. I just liked it. Just my Catholic upbringing and mortal and venial sin. Mortal, was it venial, or was it sacrilege, or was it mortal or venial murder? Anyway, this quote from Beams: God forgives sins in the sense that he does not eternally damn anyone for his sins. He keeps the door of redemption eternally open. Through repeated sincere prayers, it is possible to effect an exit from the otherwise inexorable, which is a horrible sounding word, inexorable working out of the law of karma. The forgiveness asked from God evokes from him his inscrutable grace, which alone can give new direction to the inexorable karmic determination. I don't like I guess I, in a certain sense, I am a rule breaker. I just karma, or someone will say, what's your sanskaras? And that just gets my goat, And so I love this quote.
Would you recite it again, Rosalie?
Yeah. God forgives sins in the sense that he does not eternally damn anyone for his sins. He keeps the door of redemption eternally open. Through repeated sincere prayers, it is possible to effect an exit from the otherwise inexorable working out of the law of karma. The forgiveness asked from God evokes from him his inscrutable grace, which alone can give new direction to the inexorable karmic determination. I absolutely love that, because I'm counting on terrific compassion. He is the compassionate Father.
If it wasn't for that, we'd never get out of this mess.
That's true.
Okay. Who we got?
Bob.
There. Okay. Yeah, I was at the center a couple of weeks ago, hanging out in the reading room of the libraries, one of my favorite places. I was there late at night, and I pulled down a book from the bookshelf in the reading room that I had never seen before. The title is Say I Am You, Rumi, translations by John Moyne and Coleman Barks. And I managed to find a copy of it. I ordered a copy of it. This is what it looks like. So it's in the library. And it's poetry interspersed with stories of Rumi and Shams. And one poem in particularly just really struck me. I read it over and over again. It's titled The Reed Flute's Song. Listen to the story told by the reed of being separated. Since I was cut from the reed bed, I have made this crying sound. Anyone apart from someone he loves understands what I say. Anyone pulled from a source longs to go back. At any gathering, I am there, mingling in the laughing and grieving, a friend to each. But few will hear the secrets hidden within the notes. No ears for that. Body flowing out of spirit, spirit up from body, no concealing that mixing. But it's not given us to see the soul. The reed flute is fire, not wind. Be that empty. Hear the love fire tangled in the reed notes as bewilderment melts into wine. The reed is a friend to all who want the fabric torn and drawn away. The reed is hurt and salve combining. Intimacy and longing for intimacy, one song. A disastrous surrender and a fine love together. The one who secretly hears this is senseless. A tongue has one customer, the ear. If a sugarcane flute had no effect, it would not have been able to make sugar in the reed bed. Whatever sound it makes is for everyone. Days full of wanting, let them go by without worrying that they do. Stay where you are, inside such a pure, hollow note. Every thirst gets satisfied, except that of these fish, the mystics, who swim an ocean of grace, still somehow longing for it. No one lives in that without being nourished every day. But if someone doesn't want to hear the song of the reed flute, it's best to cut conversation short, say goodbye, and leave. So
Beautiful. Oh, that is so. He read that there. He read that down in the Lakeview kitchen. What a beautiful, God.
it's one of the most beautiful translations, one of the most beautiful Rumi pieces I've ever seen. It's just wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. Right.
Jeremy or Fred? Ha. Jeremy, Fred. Fred, Jeremy. Ah,
Hi, everyone. Sorry about the delay.
yeah.
I picked out two very short pieces tonight, in which one is very short, just a brief little dinner prayer that my grandmother once shared with us. She didn't once share with us, but we would say time and time again at our camp in the Adirondack Mountains. But it was a Baba prayer, I believe, and it went something like, "O thou, who art the sustainer of our bodies, hearts, and souls, bless all that we receive in thankfulness. Amen." And that was one of the most beautiful little poems or beautiful little prayers I remember from my grandmother. Just knowing that the sustainer of our bodies, hearts, and souls, Baba, is like the illimitable Lord who knows that we'll, no matter, even if we were to lose our well, just never mind. I think I'll
Yeah.
leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, recite that again, please.
Sure. O thou who art the sustainer of our bodies, hearts, and souls, bless all that we receive in thankfulness. Amen.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
I picked out one other poem that I thought was fitting for me in the sense that of what contrast I've gone through in terms of dealing with, you could say, the dark side of things in a more loosely fitted way. But I'll just share my this is a poem that doesn't have a title. It's by Rosemary Harris, and it comes from In His Love by Mayor Baba. My companion is fear, walking behind me like a shadow. He sees obstacles where none are. He knows death as disintegration. He comes from hell to cherish me, saying, turn right, turn left. Look, there is a line in the road and no resurrection. Yet I will make my torturer my dear companion. For an acceptance, he grows honest, showing that a skeleton is only bones, and one moment no longer than another, and pain only sensation, like the color of the rose, less than the falling of a leaf. See, I shall turn my head, diminish him with pity, kill him with understanding, even love. Looking him in the eye, I shall observe his dwindling, because he is only a shadow, lost between me and the sun. Now, I don't know if the prayer I shared before that was logically fit together with that poem, but I know that sometimes when we are faced with the reality of losing one's soul in life, we know that Baba would never allow us to lose our soul. But if sometimes when faced with the greatest contrariety of God in life, you have to deal with certain nuisances, if you will, dealing with it has to do with power oppressing the weak, rich oppressing the poor, that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, beautiful. Thank you. I hadn't heard that before. Okay.
Paula?
I have an all-time favorite, and I came across a one-liner today. Baba said, when love is not at its height, it always creates a mess.
That's Baba's words?
Yeah, it was in An Awakener, 1958. Yeah, when love is not at its height, it always creates a mess. That's like that other one I came across where Baba said, I couldn't find it again, but he said, I don't like to meditate, but I love being meditated upon.
Yeah.
Okay, the one I dearly love is, pure love is matchless in majesty. It has no parallel in power, and there is no darkness it cannot dispel. It is the undying flame that has set all life aglow.
Yeah.
Jay Baba.
Jay Baba, beautiful.
Rosalie.
It's a short one that's really I love. Don't feel down by what I bring up in you.
Yeah.
That's come in handy. And
Yeah.
this other, yeah, it's because it's all coming up. Don't worry about anything. So long as you all really love me, you are all the very, very lucky few in the present human generation. Love me always and be sure of me and eternal happiness.
Yeah. Great. Beautiful.
Esther.
Jay Baba, everybody.
Yeah. Jay Baba.
This is something. Hi, Paula.
Yeah.
This is something I read probably in 1966 when I was first kind of aware that there was something other than Christianity to embrace. And it was from the Tao. And it's just a short statement that ice melting is water yielding.
Ooh, say that one again.
Ice melting is water yielding. And that's what Baba, repeatedly tells us in so many different ways, so that to make sure that as many people understand that surrendering to his will is one thing. Surrendering to his wish is really yielding and surrendering, because it's not just about his will, it's about what gives him pleasure.
Yeah.
So be like the ice. Melt into him. Jai Baba. Oh, and the other thing someone can read from God Speaks is the dedication to the universe, the illusion that sustains reality. Right. I hope I didn't mix that up, but anyway.
Got that right. A very enigmatic statement. Yeah.
Peter.
Alrighty, hi everybody. I hope my audio video is going to come through. I had a story that I wanted to tell to try to contribute, but since it's not 100% with the theme, I had made these cards up with a lot of quotes, and what struck me the most is an Erich classic. It comes from That's How It Was. It's from the story What Should We Do? On page, I think it's 256. It starts again and again. It comes back to the same truth. Live a normal life. All these questions, what is good? What is bad? Should I do this? Should I refrain from doing this? Will it feed my ego if I do it? But if I don't, isn't it simply being selfish? And so on ad infinitum. There is no end to questions, and there is no end to answers to these questions. Don't get involved in trying to figure it out. Well, too bad I already did. Mayor Baba wants us to lead an ordinary, normal life in accordance with how you are inwardly guided. Do what you feel intuitively prompted to do, but all the time this should be based on the solid foundation of being his. Whatever you do, whatever you undertake, dedicate it to him. Don't even think, is it right? Is it wrong? Is it good or bad? Is it a strength or weakness? Just dedicate everything to him. Gradually, dishonesty will fade. Gradually, other things will fade, and more unadulterated love and honesty will grow. You cannot begin with a clean slate, as it were. You must begin from where you are. We all have weaknesses, but analyzing and dissecting our motives, trying to understand whether we are being prompted by selfishness or selflessness, will not eliminate our weaknesses. It will only drive us crazy and make it impossible for us to do anything. The only way to get rid of our selfishness is to go ahead and do something, but dedicate it to him.
Beautiful, Peter. Yes, a great, great quote.
Yeah, and I just realized after there, it goes on with the example of, picking garbage up. Why would we do it? We do it to feed our ego in the beginning, but when we keep on doing it and doing it and doing it, sooner or later, we just do it because it's the right thing to do. And it's particularly meaningful for me because let's just say when I've gone to therapy, counseling, my counselor said out of all of his people that he sees, I'm the one that was mostly wrapped up with doing the right thing. Like I wanted to figure out what exactly the right thing to do was. And I remember my old friend, Mickey Kroger, I forgot his last name exactly. Mickey. Yeah, Tony. Yeah.
Mickey Carger.
Carger?
Mickey Carger. Yeah, wonderful
Carger,
guy.
okay. Yeah, he used to talk about you every so often in a great light. He sent me an email shortly before he passed. He was helping me with something. And he talked about how my mind was so twisted with thoughts. And I've been told how selfish I am, God knows how many times by my family. And when it all boiled down and I read that last sentence, it brought it home for me that that's the only way to get rid of it. If I just keep on taking it and bring it to him, taking it and giving it to him, taking it and giving it to him. And what I learned from a friend is that when I'm in a bind or when I have an uncomfortable situation, often because of what you said, Jeff, that Baba wants to figure out the details. He wants to do the worrying. A lot of time when I'm at work, I just take what it is and I just physically with my arms just lift it up to him when I'm worried about something. And I can say almost 100%, if not 100% of the time, the results are fine. It's like the problem was removed. The thing I was worrying about was removed. It was just taken by, and anyway, that was one of my favorite quotes. It's a classic, but yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And good background and everything. Yeah.
Tony?
Yes, hi. Paula shared part of one of my other favorite quotes, but it has a story connected with it. Some of you may be familiar with the Howard Beach trial in 1987 in New York. It was the first major racial attack case in New York. And I was called, there are many Baba stories related connecting, and I'm going to skip them, but I wound up being called to be on that jury, and I was the fourth alternate juror. My voir dire was a half an hour of questions about Baba and the center. Anyway, the trial went on for 3 months. I had a sweater that Harry Kenmore used to wear, and so I wore it every day when I went in trial. And I kept remembering Baba. And the trial ended. I was an alternate juror, so the 3 alternates were separated from the deliberating jurors, and we were all sequestered somewhere near in a hotel near LaGuardia Airport. And it was so intense, and the situation that the trial was dealing with was so dark and ugly, really. And but they decided that they were going to allow us to meet with the regular jurors to have a Christmas, it was near Christmas time, to have a Christmas, Hanukkah, like interfaith gathering. And so we all gathered in our old jury room, and people there knew about Baba. One fellow from Guyana, I gave him Bao's book, and he loved Bao's ghazals. But when this service took place, everyone got up and offered a prayer or a reading from their tradition. And it was all very contained, and it was all very formal, even though the atmosphere was intense. When it came to me, I knew this by heart, as it was my most favorite quote at the time. True love is matchless in majesty. It has no parallel in power, and there is no darkness it cannot dispel. It is the undying flame that has set all light aglow, yet it must be kindled and rekindled in the abysmal darkness of selfish thoughts, selfish words, and selfish deeds. As it is fired anew, it bursts out in magnificent light to serve as a beacon for those who still grope in darkness, whether that darkness is deep blue or all black. And when I had finished reciting the quote, the whole place was in tears, and I could almost see Baba's hand like sweeping over the room and touching everyone in that. Yeah, and they were all dealing with such a serious issue to be dealt with, and Baba just touched their heart with that quote.
Yeah, beautiful, Tony. Wow, I can picture that.
Jeff, can that be repeated?
Oh my God, that was very long.
Oh,
It'll be on the YouTube.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I want to hear it too. Say it again.
Oh my God.
Three.
All right.
I third the motion.
Okay.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry, Jusima. I want to apologize for sharing that poem that was a bit on the dualistic side. I apologize if I sent out any negative vibe. If anything, I'm more about Baba's positive words. I just
no, I thought it was that was a beautiful poem, I thought.
It was a poem by Rosemary Harris, and if I could, I would be able to share with you sensitive information, but I can't do that, and it has to do with certain ungodly events that happened in my life, in which things were just seemed so surreal that they were happening, and I don't see how such powerful people can pick on such a small guy, such an innocent person, and beat him to the ends of the earth with hell. I just say these things are very much a mystery to me, and I can't really forgive and I can't forget. I can just say that leave it up to Baba, leave it up to the good Lord to decide.
Yeah. Just give all the feeling that has been stirred up in you, imagine it flowing energetically to Baba.
And I'm sorry if that poem was self-focused or profoundly self-focused or self-absorbed.
Yeah. Are you sure that was not Rosemary Jackson?
Oh, maybe it was Rosemary Jackson.
From England, but anyway. Okay. But no, you don't need to apologize. We're all, what can I say? We're all pathetic here.
Well, sorry about that, guys.
Shall I repeat the story, or?
Was it the story or the quote or everything?
I think it was the story.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Paul had also read the quote, so it's on there twice.
Please do.
So it was this, I'll give a little bit more detail though. It was the summer of 1987. My daughter had just been born in February. I had supposed to be on jury duty, but I had it postponed until September. And it was sometime maybe in August, and I was shaving, and I heard a very clear inner voice, and this had never happened to me before, saying, something great is going to happen in your life. And then the second part was, it will not be a mere redoing of things that have been done before. By which I understood, Baba said, everything we experience is our sanskaras, replaying stuff that we've already done. And that this was going to be something totally original, like from Baba, I guess. I didn't know what to make of it, and I forgot about it. But as it turned out, I was being called for jury duty with this Howard Beach trial three black guys whose car broke down in Howard Beach, Queens, and they finally had to abandon it. It was near Far Rockaway towards Howard Beach, and they started walking back home through Howard Beach, a very white Italian American neighborhood. I'm Italian American, and some young guys, and John Gotti's neighborhood, and some guys who were coming from a Sweet 16 party, white guys, started a fight with the black guys. Somehow a fight started, and these guys came back with baseball bats and tire irons and chased these guys, the black guys. And one of them, Michael Griffith, ran onto the highway, and he was hit by a car and killed. The other one was beaten very badly, and one got away. So this was the first trial for that incident. They were dividing the defendants, and the jury selection took 3 months. No, it took a month. I'm sorry. The trial took 3 months. And I was wearing Baba's picture. I always wear Baba's picture. And Baba says, to each one, I appear to be what he thinks I am. And in those days, everyone who saw that picture of Baba was from the single volume discourses, thought it was Lech Walesa. And that made sense to me. They see God as the sole voice for truth in a world that is not supporting truth. I was the last one to be interviewed. They had selected all 12 jurors and 3 of the alternates. And they went up, they took me to the judge's chamber. And the first question is, we notice you've been wearing this button with the picture of Lech Walesa on it for the last month. And what's that all about? And so I wound up with a half an hour of questions about Baba. They were all, it's kind of funny, but anyway, so the trial was very, very intense. It went on for 3 months. We became very close because we met in our jury room before and after testimony was given and so on. But when it was sent for deliberations, we were separated from the main jurors. But after about, I guess it was 12 days, they thought it would be nice for us to have some break, and we couldn't communicate with the main jury. But the alternates and the deliberating jurors got together again in the jury room to have a holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah type prayer or celebration. And at some point, and each person got up and read something from their own tradition. And it was very intense, the atmosphere in the room. They had a big burden of responsibility on them. And when it came my turn, I knew that quote by heart, because it was my favorite at the time. And as soon as it was finished, the whole place, flooded with tears. People were sobbing, and I could almost see Baba's hand sweeping back and forth across the room and touching their hearts. And they eventually, of course, brought back a verdict that they brought back, I think, what was the right verdict. I myself, because I was released early, the media came after me, and I was the lead story in every newspaper and every TV station. They ambushed me at my home, and the New York Times was the only one that gave a fair. They made up wild stuff. The New York Times wrote a fair article, and they had a picture of me wearing that Baba picture. And they said, they described me as a round bearded man wearing a button of Indian spiritual figure Meher Baba, who he said was his spiritual master.
Wow.
And one of the jurors, when they heard what I said to the reporters, I tried to be balanced and fair, but all of the newspapers twisted it. And he said, one of the attorneys for one of the defendants said, I always had my concerns about that particular juror. He's the follower of some kind of yogi or yogini or something. And he was the only lawyer that I thought I liked. Anyway, so there's so much more, but that was a big Baba event that Baba clearly wanted me to have a part of.
Can you say the quote?
Oh, the quote.
Yeah, we want the quote.
Okay, well, it's the same that Paula read, except with the tail added. True love is matchless, and it's in Listen Humanity. True love is matchless in true love is matchless in majesty. It has no parallel in power, and there is no darkness it cannot dispel. It is the undying flame that has set all life aglow, yet it must be kindled and rekindled in the abysmal darkness of selfish thoughts, selfish words, and selfish deeds. As it is fired anew, it bursts out in magnificent light to serve as a beacon for those who still grope in the darkness of selfishness, be that darkness deep blue or all black.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Wonderful story.
Hey, Baba.
Tony, do you think it could actually help me?
Huh?
Do you think it could even help me?
I would think so.
I hope so. I'm begging.
Yeah.
Matchless in majesty, no darkness it cannot dispel. It's a big promise from Baba, for certain. It is. I have found it to be true, but I have found it that I also have to work very hard with him on certain things. But working hard meaning being honest about what the issue is, the darkness is, and being willing to turn it over, being willing to acknowledge stuff, being willing to forgive myself for whatever it is, for my perceptions, my thoughts, my judgments. But yes, absolutely. In my experience, Baba is the undying flame that clears that darkness. But it requires, in my experience, daily personal effort, but always not on struggling with the issue, but on the giving it to Baba and asking him, telling him I'm willing to see the truth, I'm willing to let myself change, things like that.
Yeah.
If you have your hand raised.
Okay. So, just to give a little preface to the quote that has meant a lot to me. You know, in my early years when I got into this whole thing, I was focused mainly on Baba within me. You know, I felt his presence, his divinity, and I had occasional glimpses of my own soul. But after years, I became obsessed with Baba's words, to find me in others. And I found that was a much greater challenge. You know, it was very difficult to get beyond people's personalities in order to see the divinity within them, to find Baba in them. I mean, I suspected there had to be a way into Baba in others. That is, I believe that Baba was in others, but belief and experience are worlds apart. But one day, my reactions to the personality of people, even my good reactions and my less desirable reactions, got in the way of being able to see Baba in them, see into their essence. So one day I came across this quote from Baba. This is back in the 70s, and I kept it in my wallet until eventually it shredded. And this is the quote. Baba said, "All differences between one another are merely superficial and cannot affect the love we feel for each other deep down." So all differences, and that means, gender, ethnic identity, ethnicity, differences in personality, differences in culture, all differences, Bob is saying, are merely superficial and cannot affect the love we feel for each other deep down. And what that said to me is we already love each other. The love we have for each other doesn't grow, it's already there. We have merely to remove our reactions that contradict this truth. Meaning, you know, what I mean is that the love merely needs to be unveiled. I suspected this, you know, to tune into the love behind the personality with all its shortcomings and weaknesses and hang-ups and even good traits. To tune into the love was the doorway for me into experiencing Baba in others. Like, for example, on a cloudy day, we say the sun isn't out, but it is there hidden behind the clouds. And I found it much more, immensely more helpful to think that there is love behind the cloud, that Baba is just behind the clouds, rather than that love has to grow and develop. That was, in other words, the love, that person in front of me, we love each other, rather than, oh, this guy doesn't like me and I got, you know, and the love, we got to work on the love and get there. The love is there, and it's a different way of approaching people. I found it immensely helpful. You know, so it's a matter of unveiling Baba in others, or unveiling the love. And so over the years I've found that when the clouds of my reactions to others lift, or the habit of seeing others just as personalities, when that habit is broken, then I've been able to see through the veil of personality to the love that's always there, that Baba is there. And now this doesn't mean necessarily that others feel love for me. I mean, that is not required. I mean, when they do love me and I love them, I mean, that is paradise. That's the best thing on earth. But I can't expect that from others. I mean, otherwise I'd be sadly disappointed. And then that would be a reaction that would get in the way. So, and then this is a different topic, but eventually finding Baba in others kind of morphed into seeing others as Baba in disguise. That person there is really Baba in disguise of Bob Yeager or Marcia Maltz, rather than thinking. I found it better. I enjoyed. I mean, what can I say? I found it more. It worked better rather than thinking Baba's on the inside and the person's on the outside. I found that just seeing them as my beloved in disguise, as this person or that person, works best for me. But that's another whole subject. Anyway, I don't know if that makes any sense. But the quote again, let's see what the quote is. Let's see. Let me find that quote. All differences between one another are merely superficial and cannot affect the love we feel for each other deep down. So, just a matter of time. Okay.
Masha.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to read, this nice, it's in a nice frame too. It's Keep Me With You in Mayor Baba. I don't know where it came from, but I am nearer to you than your own breath. Remember me and I am with you, and my love will guide you. Your being with me physically is immaterial. It is my being with you that matters. So keep me with you always. You have to love God silently and honestly, even in your everyday life. While eating, drinking, talking, and doing all your duties, you can still love God continuously without letting anyone know. Through unfathomable ways, I lead you to liberation. Accept my rhythm. Come in tune with it without reservations. My rhythm of truth shall redeem you. It will open your heart. It will give you new love. Mayor Baba.
Beautiful. You know, I wanted to mention, I think that there's a memorial happening right during this time or earlier for Fred Stankus. So I think some people have attended that. He was a grand wonderful mountain of a man. Was such so great to be with, and so much yeah, really fun to be with, and a heart of gold. Anyway,
Right.
Fred or Jeremy?
Hi, hi everyone. I'm sorry, I had my hand up, but I meant to take it down prior to my last session with you guys. So I don't know if you can hear me right now. I just stepped outside, but can any of you hear me?
Yeah.
I basically just wanted to say only that this has been a positive sharing of readings and input, and that it's all been very grand in the sense that it's allowed me to think outside the box, if you will. So thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Marvin? Marvin?
There you go.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, Tony mentioned Listen Humanity, and there is a wonderful quote in Listen Humanity that I read, wow, before I was a Baba lover. And it actually convinced me that Baba is who he says he is. Anyhow, it goes like this. Wherever I go, people flock about me by the hundreds and thousands. That kind of love is not what I want. Whether people worship or vilify me, I remain what I am. Whether the whole world believes in God or denies him, God always remains God. I look forward to the love which enables the individual to obey me, so that he may find me and eventually become me. Therefore, I do not want crowds to be attracted towards me. I want really sincere souls. I do not necessarily wait for them to come to me. I often go to them. I can and do my own work. You can and should share it too. It's easy to collect crowds, and it's easy for crowds to collect. My greatness cannot be established in the crowds and through the crowds. But even a few with love can make the masses feel my greatness, keep the greatness established in their hearts. One single person who really loves me can move the whole world. There is no one here, including myself, who can so love me. If all of you became my real lovers, we would need several more worlds for all of you to work in for me. My work for you does not consist in your going around beating a big drum for me. Love needs no propaganda. You need love yourself in order to propagate love among others. To spread my love among the people, you have to make them understand me as you understand me. For that, you have to bring them to love me as you love me. And it means you have to cause them to feel my love as you feel it. the best way to show others by your own example how much you love me. The world is too full of preachers and teachers. Never forget that I've not come to teach, and I need no preachers. In the intimate spirit of the Sahavas, I must be free and frank with you all and tell you whatever I feel like saying. Why shout to others? Baba says God is the only reality and all else is illusion, when you yourself cannot help whispering to me about your own illusions. There are doubtless many among you here who are sincere and painstaking in your efforts to explain my message to one and all, that they should ignore illusion and awaken to a reality. Yet these sincere workers do not hesitate to bring to my attention their own tales of illusory woes and worries, such as, Baba, I'm short of money. My wife is not in good health. I'm about to lose my job. There's trouble in my business. And so on. Would it be truthful for one of these to tell others, Baba says, do not worry about illusory things. God knows everything. God does everything. Why preach at all what you yourself cannot put into practice? If you do not find yourself free of falsehood, envy, slander, backbiting, hatred, if you find in yourself a lack of love, consideration for others, that instead of telling others, Baba says this and Baba says that, you'd best keep quiet and not show your face to those whom you would like to win over to me. Suppose one of my followers is speaking before a gathering, trying to tell them that Baba is reality and all else is illusion. Suppose just then a telegram is given to him that tells of a bus accident in which all of his family has been killed. If in spite of the tragedy and the pain of what has happened, he continues to speak with greater conviction, then he has achieved real authority to speak about me and my teachings. You win the right to tell others what you first accept in letter and spirit for yourself. Show outwardly only what you have won inwardly. There's no doubt, for example, that I am the avatar, the ancient one. How do you know that I am he? You say so mainly because I say so. I say so based on my own living experience of being that. But for you, it's just a belief until you become me. Suppose your belief is wrong. What I want to impress upon you is this. Never give a twist to what you feel deep down in your own hearts. If you feel that I am the avatar, say openly, Baba is the avatar. If you feel I am a fraud, do not hesitate to say, Baba is a fraud. I remain unaffected by praise or abuse. If you speak what you feel to be true, you have the force of truth to make others accept truth. I could keep going.
Beautiful. No.
He is beautiful. Jai Baba.
No, that was great to hear.
Does it continue further? Just
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
But it's getting a little bit late here.
It's getting late.
Yeah. But and we've got a couple more people.
Yeah.
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 It's
Um,
lighting the Dooney.
I don't know if somebody said this already because I was in and out, but I like the quote, the seed of imperishable sweetness is in everyone.
Yeah, from Life at Its Best. Or,
I don't know where it's from,
Oh.
but I just looked it.
so do you have the whole quote?
No, I just know that one line.
The imperishable sweetness is in everyone. That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Now there was Vesta was around here somewhere.
Oh, I was just going to mention the Beatitudes, but you mentioned that time was short, so if somebody else wants to talk, go for it.
No, Vesta, you go right ahead.
Yeah, okay, well, obviously there's been a lot of tragedy recently, especially racial tension and hatred, just really awful stuff. But anyway, when Baba came as Jesus, it was also a very dark time. And one of the tenets of his teachings were the Beatitudes. And so I just thought I'd quickly go through all those points because are they ever needed now? So it's just another reminder that truth is truth no matter when it's said, and wisdom can be found where wisdom is located, and it's usually within the heart. So anyway, blessed are the poor in spirit. And that's, those who recognize their own spiritual resources are inadequate to live, consistently or according to the standard that they believe God has set for them to enter his kingdom or to join him. They use different words in those times. Blessed are they who mourn. And I particularly am touched by this one of the Beatitudes because I just can't imagine not only the parents of those beautiful children and those teachers who were slaughtered, but all the people that it triggers memories, their other family, friends, their church, their school, their neighbors, everything else. So I was just thinking of those people, how blessed they are, but it's a different blessing than most people think or understand. Blessed are the meek. Boy, do we need some meek people, especially in leadership, so it returns to a benevolent standard. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness. Blessed are the merciful. And that's basically those who share the forgiveness and compassion of God with others, which Tony so beautifully illustrated. Blessed are the pure in heart. And we've been talking a lot about Mara and the Mandali, but also each other, because we do have pure hearts. It's just our minds that kind of scramble things up a little bit. Blessed are the peacemakers. And I think of the leaders that Baba has brought to the fore now, especially with the war that's going on between, Russia and Ukraine and the support Ukraine is giving. But, it's the peacemakers. It's the time has come. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteous sake, and especially those who are persecuted in the name of God, but hated for their skin color, their religion, their culture, their social status, their whatever. And blessed are you when men revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you on my account. And we've all experienced that. And Tony kind of touched on it a little bit. But anyway, I just thought it was true then and it's true now. And I'm hoping that something showers us with all of the qualities that the Beatitudes that Jesus talked about.
Hey,
Deva,
Vesta, can you read those all again?
are you serious? Is there enough time?
Yeah, go ahead and read them just right there.
Okay, I'll read them without any editorializing.
Yeah.
Okay. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are they who mourn. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness. Blessed are the merciful. Blessed are the pure in heart. Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake. And blessed are you when men revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you on my account.
Beautiful. Wow. I haven't heard that in many years. Thank you. You. Perfect choice. Hey, let's, we're kind of here toward the end. How about, Bob, can you read that poem once again, or do you, have you lost its page number? The poem you
No,
read.
I've got it. I've got it right here.
Could you also give us the title of the book?
Yes, the book is Say I Am You, Rumi.
Say I Am You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Rumi, little book.
And it's I was able to order a copy, so it's still available. The reed flute song. Listen to the story told by the reed of being separated. Since I was cut from the reed bed, I have made this crying sound. Anyone apart from someone he loves understands what I say. Anyone pulled from a source longs to go back. At any gathering, I am there, mingling in the laughing and grieving, a friend to each, but few will hear the secrets hidden within the notes. No ears for that. Body flowing out of spirit, spirit up from body, no concealing that mixing. But it's not given us to see the soul. The reed flute is fire, not wind. Be that empty. Hear the love fire tangled in the reed notes as bewilderment melts into wine. The reed is a friend to all who want the fabric torn and drawn away. The reed is hurt and salve combining. Intimacy and longing for intimacy, one song. A disastrous surrender and a fine love together. The one who secretly hears this is senseless. A tongue has one customer, the ear. If a sugarcane flute had no effect, it would not have been able to make sugar in the reed bed. Whatever sound it makes is for everyone. Days full of wanting, let them go by without worrying that they do. Stay where you are, inside such a pure, hollow note. Every thirst gets satisfied, except that of these fish, the mystics, who swim an ocean of grace, still somehow longing for it. No one lives in that without being nourished every day. But if someone doesn't want to hear the song of the reed flute, it's best to cut conversation short, say goodbye, and leave.
Beautiful. You know, that just reminded me of kind of the same part in the of that poem. These are the opening lines to the work that came from. I'm just going to do 2 verses. Hearken to this reed forlorn, breathing ever since was torn from its rushy bed, a strain of impassioned love and pain. Love and pain. The secret of my song, though near, none can see and none can hear. Oh, for the friend who knows the sign and mingles all his soul with mine, with mine, with mine. Hearken, hearken to the reed, to the reed.
Beautiful.
So,
Bravo.
what's that?
Bravo.
Oh,
So Tony so jamming to that. Just seeing Tony.
yeah.
Maybe should I not do that, Tony? Sorry, Tony. I was trying to be nothing but complimentary.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just send you a really quick message. Yeah, Tony gets very it's like Tony's heart goes into everything.
Yeah.
Tony, do you
All
also
heart.
sing that song?
So let's have a few moments of silence. But Fred, Fred, and then we'll have a few moments of silence.
Can you hear me, or is there difficulty hearing
Yeah.
me?
No, we hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jeff, that was especially emotional for me. I listened to that song, the Song of the Reed, and I remembered it from the Ancient One. A very great song. It brought me to tears, and I'm not exactly sure what a reed is, but is it like a flute or a clarinet?
Well, the image is a bed of rushes. A reed is extracted from it, torn from its bed of rushes, and it's hollowed out, and through that is played the song of love and pain for God, for the beloved.
Okay. Well, that's it, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah. And your great grandmother heard Jim Meyer play that many times. He was living there in her house. So, okay, let's have a few moments of silence before we go on. Jay Baba. Thank you for all the wonderful quotes. Boy, that was beautiful to hear.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff. That was very enlightening.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was great. I mean, the quotes, so wonderful to hear, and then to hear the context that it comes in people's lives. We didn't
Thank
hear
you,
Mary
Marvin.
we didn't hear Marion this time, but we'll get her another time. She's not going to get away with it. Yeah. Wow. So this is Memorial Day. Well, no, tomorrow's Memorial Day, but every day is Memorial Day with Baba. So any little comments, any loose change, as they say?
Yeah, I have something. I've shared this on a couple of Baba boards on Facebook, but folks may know that Baba first set foot on Western soil when he disembarked in Marseille, France, on September 11, 1931. And later in that trip, sailing into New York Harbor, the Mondli were oohing and eyeing about the New York skyline, and Baba said, "It's going to fall like a house of cards." And 70 years to the day he set foot on Western soil was 9/11, and those towers did fall like a house of cards. But what occurred to me this week was, we all know the story about Baba's accident in Prague and about how he gave Elizabeth the flower and said, "Mark this date," and 20 years later on that day was the accident. It occurred to me that this horrific event that took place in Florida was 70 years to the day of Baba's accident in Prague. Not his accident in Prague. I'm sorry, I said the horrific event in Florida. I meant in Texas. And it was 70 years to the day of Baba's accident in Prague, which is actually not that far from where those children were killed. And in me, it gave rise to some hope. I mean, first, that Baba, of course, is there at these horrific things that happen. And it would no doubt have been much worse without his glance being on both of those events. But it also gives me some maybe reasonless hope that this may be the turning point for getting rid of all of these weapons of war in this country. I hope.
Yeah, I pray also. My God, what do you need a assault rifle for hunting? I mean, even the police are no match for such a weapon. But anyway, wow. So great to see all of you, and let's see. Anytime you guys, if someone has a topic,
Jeff,
yeah.
Jeff, I wanted to share something. I actually wrote this to the NRA. It says, NRA, no regard for angels. NRA, you are not nice to go ahead with your convention amidst the blood that one of your repeating rifles has caused. Have you so little regard for your fellow human life? The angel of death is not only at the time of Moses, as told in the Bible. I am praying that NRA will cease preying, PREYING, on innocent children. Wake up to your relentless part in this ceaseless massacre.
Wow. Yep. Amen. I mean, I always think Baba's making the best of a bad thing in this world, What can he do? He can't force, love prevents him from forcing us to change. We have to kind of be willing.
But it's a manifestation. It's a bumpy ride,
Yeah.
We just to see these things right in our face. Oh.
Yeah. There's no air in our tires. Well, anyway, I guess we got to turn to Nasreen to kick us out of the tavern.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Beloved Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki
Jai
Jai.
Baba.
Jai Baba. Thank you.
Jai Baba.
You guys, thank you all.
Jai
Thank you,
Baba.
Jeff. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Another-
and
Another
Sonober.
wonderful chat meeting. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, Jai. Thank you.
yeah, good.